In the quiet town of Willow Creek, Virginia, nestled near the sprawling Norfolk Naval Base, life moved at a steady pace. Folks knew each other by name, and the main street was lined with small shops, a diner, and the old courthouse that had stood since the Civil War. It was a place where veterans were honored, but strangers, especially those down on their luck, often faced suspicion. Sarah Thompson had been one of those strangers for the past year. At 42, she looked older than her years, her face weathered by sun and hardship. Her clothes were ragged, a faded army jacket over a worn shirt, pants with holes at the knees, and boots that had seen better days. She carried a backpack with her few belongings, a tattered photo of her unit, a small Bible, and whatever food she could scavenge. Sarah slept under bridges or in the woods on the edge of town, avoiding people when she could. But hunger had a way of pushing her into the open. One crisp autumn morning, Sarah wandered into the local grocery store, her stomach growling after 2 days without a real meal. She eyed the bread aisle, her hands trembling slightly from the cold. She wasn't there to steal, not really. She had a few dollars from panhandling the day before. But as she reached for a loaf, the store owner, Mr. Harlan, spotted her. He was a burly man in his 60s, with a no-nonsense attitude shaped by years of running the only store in town. "Hey you, I know your type," he barked, his voice echoing through the quiet store. A few customers turned to stare. "We've had things go missing before. You homeless folks think you can just take what you want." Sarah froze, her hand pulling back. "I'm paying, sir. I have money." Her voice was steady but quiet, like someone used to holding back emotions. Mr. Harlan snorted, crossing his arms. "Sure you do. Let's see it." He stepped closer, his face red with anger. The other shoppers murmured, some shaking their heads. One woman whispered to her friend, "Look at her, probably on drugs or something. Can't trust 'em." Sarah pulled out her crumpled bills, but before she could hand them over, Mr. Harlan grabbed her arm. "I don't believe you. I'm calling the cops." He dragged her toward the front, ignoring her calm protests. Sarah didn't fight back. She knew it would only make things worse. Deep inside, a fire burned, the same fire that had carried her through hell in the Navy, but she kept it hidden. She'd learned long ago that showing strength sometimes invited more trouble. The police arrived quickly. Officer Daniels, a young man fresh out of the academy, cuffed her hands behind her back. "Vagrancy and suspected theft," he said, reading her rights in a bored tone. As they led her out, a small crowd gathered. "About time," one man said. "She's been hanging around too long, makes the town look bad." In the squad car, Sarah stared out the window at the passing trees. Her mind drifted back to better days. She had joined the Navy right out of high school, driven by a need to prove herself. Women weren't common in the SEALs back then, but Sarah had pushed through the grueling training, the cold water swims, the endless runs, the mock captures. She became one of the first female SEALs, earning her trident pin after months of pain and doubt. Her team called her Iron Sarah for her unyielding spirit. But war had changed everything. Deployments to Afghanistan and Iraq left scars not just on her body, a shattered knee from an IED blast, but on her soul. Nightmares of lost friends, the screams of the wounded. When she came home, the VA promised help, but bureaucracy tangled her claims. Her husband left, unable to handle her silence and outbursts. Jobs slipped away because employers saw her as unstable. Eventually, the streets became her home. At the station, they booked her. "Name?" the desk sergeant asked. "Sarah Thompson," she replied evenly. He smirked. "No middle name, no fancy title, just another drifter." She didn't correct him. What was the point? They fingerprinted her, took her mugshot, and tossed her into a holding cell. The cold metal bench bit into her back as she sat there, closing her eyes. Insults echoed in her mind, the mockery from the store, the whispers of the crowd. But Sarah had faced worse. In SEAL training, instructors had screamed in her face, calling her weak, a girl who didn't belong. She'd proven them wrong then. Maybe she could now. Word spread through Willow Creek like wildfire. By evening, the local paper had a small article. "Homeless woman arrested for theft." Folks at the diner clucked their tongues. "Serves her right," said Mrs. Ellis, a retired teacher. "We work hard here, no room for freeloaders." But not everyone agreed. Old Mr. Jenkins, a Vietnam vet who ran the hardware store, shook his head. "Something about her eyes. Looks like she's seen things." He sipped his coffee, remembering his own struggles after the war. The prosecutor, a sharp young woman named Lisa Grant, decided to make an example of Sarah. "We can't have this in our town," she said to the judge over the phone. Judge Harlan, no relation to the store owner but a stern man in his 70s with a military background, agreed to a quick trial. "Bring her in tomorrow," he said. As night fell, Sarah lay on the cell floor, her jacket as a pillow. Tears stung her eyes, but she wiped them away. "You've got this," she whispered to herself. Just like Bud S. one day at a time. Little did she know the trial would uncover truths that would shake the town to its core. The next morning, the courthouse buzzed with locals eager for the spectacle. Sarah was led in, still in her dirty clothes, chains around her ankles. The gallery whispered as she sat at the defense table, her public defender, a harried man named Tom Riley, flipping through papers. "Plead guilty," he muttered. "It's just a misdemeanor. You'll get time served." Sarah shook her head. "I'm innocent. I want to fight." Riley sighed. "Suit yourself, but don't expect miracles." As the bailiff called the court to order, Judge Harlan entered, his robe swishing. He banged the gavel, his face set in stone. "The people versus Sarah Thompson. Let's begin." Sarah lifted her chin, meeting his gaze. The mockery from the day before fueled her resolve. She was underestimated, just like always. But deep down, she knew her story was far from over. The courtroom in Willow Creek was small and stuffy, with wooden benches creaking under the weight of curious townsfolk. Sunlight filtered through dusty windows, casting long shadows on the American flag behind the judge's bench. Sarah sat straight-backed, her hands folded in her lap, ignoring the stares. She'd faced enemy fire. A room full of judgmental eyes was nothing. Judge Harlan peered over his glasses. "Ms. Thompson, you are charged with petty theft and vagrancy. How do you plead?" "Not guilty, Your Honor," Sarah said clearly. Her voice didn't waver, drawing a few raised eyebrows from the gallery. Prosecutor Grant stood, her heels clicking on the floor. "Your Honor, the defendant was caught red-handed in Harlan's grocery. She has no fixed address, no job. This is a clear case of someone taking advantage of our community." Tom Riley rose awkwardly. "My client had money to pay. This is a misunderstanding." The trial moved quickly. Mr. Harlan took the stand first, his face flushed. "She looked shifty. I know thieves when I see 'em, grabbed that bread like it was hers." "Did she actually take it without paying?" Riley asked. "Well, no, but she was about to," Mr. Harlan grumbled. The gallery chuckled. Sarah felt the heat of embarrassment, but she pushed it down. Memories flashed, her first mission infiltrating a Taliban stronghold. Teammates had doubted her size, her gender. "You'll slow us down," one said, but she'd led the charge, saving 2 lives that night. Next, Officer Daniels testified. "She didn't resist, but she's been seen begging. Fits the profile." "Profile of what?" Riley pressed. "You know, homeless troublemakers." Murmurs rippled through the room. Sarah's jaw tightened. She wanted to stand and shout about her service, her medals, the Silver Star for Valor, the Purple Heart, but pride kept her silent. Let them underestimate her, it had worked before. During a break, Riley leaned in. "This isn't going well. Why not tell them about your background? Military service could help." Sarah shook her head. "Not yet, I don't want pity." As the afternoon wore on, Grant called a witness, Mrs. Ellis from the diner. "I've seen her rummaging in dumpsters. She's a menace. Scared my grandkids." Sarah's heart ached. She remembered her own family, parents gone, no siblings. The Navy had been her family until it spit her out. After her injury, the discharge papers came, honorable but unfit for duty. The VA lost her files, denied her benefits. She drifted town to town, her strength eroding like sand. Riley called Sarah to the stand. She walked with a slight limp, her head high. "Ms. Thompson, tell us about that day," he said. "I went in to buy bread. I had $4. Mr. Harlan accused me before I could pay." "Why are you homeless?" Grant cross-examined sharply. Sarah paused. "Life happened, lost my job, my home." "Convenient, no family, no skills." The words stung like bullets. Sarah's eyes flashed. "I have skills more than you know." Grant smirked. "Enlighten us." But Sarah stayed quiet, her emotional walls up. The judge watched her closely, something stirring in his memory. He'd served in the Army during Desert Storm, risen to captain. He respected grit. As testimony ended, Grant summed up. "This woman is a drain on society, guilty as charged." Riley argued weakly. "She's down on luck, give her a chance." Judge Harlan adjourned for the day. "We'll hear closing tomorrow." Outside, the town buzzed. "She's guilty," folks said at the diner, but Mr. Jenkins frowned. "Something's off. She holds herself like a soldier." That night in her cell, Sarah paced. Emotions welled up, anger at the injustice, sorrow for lost years. She thought of her last mission, rescuing hostages under fire. She'd carried a wounded comrade 2 miles, ignoring her pain. "You're unbreakable," he'd said. Morning came, the courtroom filled again. Grant delivered a fiery close. Don't let her fool you with that quiet act, she's a thief. Riley stumbled through his. Mercy, Your Honor. Judge Harlan turned to Sarah. Anything to add? She stood. I've served my country, fought for freedoms you enjoy, but here I'm judged by looks. The judge leaned forward. Served how? United States Navy, Special Warfare. Whispers erupted. Grant objected. Irrelevant. But the judge held up a hand. Your full name, Ms. Thompson. Sarah Elizabeth Thompson, SEAL Team 6, retired. The name hit Judge Harlan like a thunderbolt. He knew it from classified briefings, hero stories passed among vets. Iron Sarah, the woman who defied odds. Slowly he rose to his feet, his face pale. The courtroom fell silent. The silence in the Willow Creek courthouse was thick, broken only by the creak of the judge's chair as he stood. Judge Harlan's eyes locked on Sarah, a mix of shock and respect. At 75, he'd seen his share of surprises, but this topped them all. Ms. Thompson, he said, his voice steady but emotional. Are you the Sarah Thompson who earned the Silver Star in Operation Desert Fury? Sarah nodded, her chin lifting. Yes, sir. Gasps filled the room. Mr. Harlan, the store owner, shifted uncomfortably. Mrs. Ellis covered her mouth. Officer Daniels stared wide-eyed. The judge sat slowly. Court is in recess for 1 hour. I need to verify this. He banged the gavel, but his mind raced back to his army days. He'd heard tales of Iron Sarah, the female SEAL who stormed enemy lines, saved lives, became a legend among special ops. In the holding room, Sarah sat alone, her heart pounding. For the first time in years, she felt seen. Riley burst in. Why didn't you tell me? This changes everything. I didn't want to use it as a crutch, she said softly. I earned respect once, I can again. As the hour ticked by, flashbacks flooded Sarah's mind. She was 18, enlisting in the Navy, her parents proud but worried. Be careful, honey, her mom said. Basic training was tough, but SEAL selection was brutal. Instructors pushed her harder. You think you can hack it, princess? One yelled during Hell Week. She'd shivered in the surf, waves crashing, but refused to ring the bell. I'm here to stay, she'd growled. Her first deployment, Afghanistan 2005. Her team raided a compound, bullets flew, a teammate fell. Sarah dragged him to cover, firing back. Hang on, she shouted. That night earned her first commendation. But the costs mounted. In Iraq, an IED exploded under her vehicle. Shrapnel tore her knee, her best friend died in her arms. Tell my wife I love her, he whispered. Sarah held him, tears mixing with blood. Homecoming was bittersweet. Parades, medals, but nightmares followed. PTSD gripped her. Her husband, Mike, tried to help. Talk to me, Sarah. But she couldn't. He left after a year. I can't live with a ghost. Jobs failed. You're too jumpy, bosses said. VA appointments dragged on. Benefits denied over paperwork errors. She sold her house, wandered. Willow Creek was just another stop. Back in court, Judge Harlan returned, holding papers. I've confirmed with military records. Ms. Thompson is indeed a decorated Navy SEAL. Silver Star, Purple Heart, Bronze Star. She served with honor. The gallery murmured in awe. Grant looked flustered. Your Honor, her service doesn't excuse the crime. Alleged crime, the judge corrected. Ms. Thompson, please tell your story. Sarah took the stand again, her voice clear for narration. I joined the SEALs to serve, broke barriers as a woman. Missions were hard, lost friends, got hurt, came home broken. VA failed me, ended up on the streets, but I never stole, I survived with dignity. Emotional beats hit the room. Mr. Jenkins nodded, tears in his eyes. I knew it, he muttered. But injustice lingered. Grant pressed. Why hide it? Pride, Sarah said, and shame. Society forgets vets like me. The judge's face softened. He remembered his own return from war, sleepless nights, forgotten by many. You've sacrificed more than most here can imagine. As the day ended, the judge ordered more investigation. Trial continues tomorrow. Outside, the town shifted. Folks at the diner talked differently. She's a hero, Mrs. Ellis said, ashamed. Mr. Harlan frowned, regretting his haste. That night, Sarah lay in her cell, hope flickering, but doubt crept in. Would this change anything, or was it just pity? The next day brought more revelations. Riley called witnesses, vets from the base who recognized her name. Iron Sarah saved my buddy's life, one said. Emotions swelled. Sarah fought tears as old comrades hugged her after testifying. "We thought you were gone," one whispered. But the prosecutor dug in. "Hero or not, rules apply." Sarah's strength shone. "I've followed rules my whole life, fought for justice, now I ask for it." The judge adjourned again, the air thick with tension. The town waited, hooked on the unfolding drama. As the trial entered its third day in Willow Creek, the courthouse overflowed. Word had spread beyond town limits, local news crews parked outside, cameras rolling. Sarah Thompson, the homeless woman turned SEAL hero, was the talk of Virginia. Judge Harlan called order. "We've heard the facts, now let's see the heart of this." Prosecutor Grant, sensing the shift, tried to regain ground. "Service is admirable, but it doesn't give a free pass. She was in the store looking suspicious." Sarah's defender, Riley, now energized, countered. "Suspicious because she's homeless. That's prejudice, not proof." Testimony turned emotional. A VA rep was subpoenaed overnight. "Ms. Thompson's claims were mishandled," he admitted. "Bureaucratic errors delayed her benefits. She's owed back pay, medical care." Gasps echoed. Sarah's eyes welled, years of fighting validated at last. Then flashbacks deepened her character. In her mind, she relived a pivotal mission, 2010, Somalia. Pirates held hostages. Sarah's team parachuted in at night. She swam ashore, scaled cliffs, took out guards silently. For the team, she thought, heart racing. Rescue successful, but she took a bullet to the shoulder. In the hello out, pain searing, she joked, "Just a scratch." Her strength inspired all. Back in court, Mr. Harlan, the store owner, was recalled. Under Riley's questioning, he squirmed. "Maybe I jumped to conclusions." "Why?" Riley pressed. "She looked poor, unkept." The judge frowned. "That's not a crime." Emotional beats peaked when Sarah spoke again. "I didn't choose this life. War took pieces of me, but I still stand tall. I ask for understanding, not handouts." Tears flowed in the gallery. Mrs. Ellis approached during break. "I'm sorry, dear, I didn't know." Sarah nodded graciously. "We all make mistakes." The community stirred. Mr. Jenkins organized a quick fund at the diner. "For our hero," he said. Vets from the base showed up, saluting her. But injustice wasn't over. Grant revealed a twist. Sarah had a prior minor charge, trespassing in another town. See, pattern. Riley exploded. From survival, no theft. Sarah remained calm, her emotional strength a rock. "I've paid my dues." Judge Harlan listened, his respect growing. He remembered a female soldier in his unit underestimated who proved vital. "Like you," he thought. As closing arguments wrapped, Grant conceded partly. "Drop the theft, but vagrancy stands." Riley pleaded, "Dismiss all, give her justice." The judge recessed to deliberate. Tension built, would redemption come? Outside, the town transformed. Folks shared stories of overlooked vets. "We failed her," one said. In her cell, Sarah reflected. Strength had carried her, but vulnerability opened doors. "Maybe it's time to accept help," she whispered. Court reconvened. Judge Harlan spoke. "Ms. Thompson, your service humbles us. Charges dismissed." Cheers erupted, but he continued. "More, the town will help with housing, VA fixes." Sarah stood, tears streaming. "Thank you, sir." The judge rose again, saluting. "No, thank you." The gallery followed, a wave of respect. But the story wasn't done. Whispers of a bigger truth emerged. A corrupt VA official who buried claims for kickbacks. With charges dropped, Sarah walked free from the Willow Creek courthouse, but the emotional journey peaked outside. A crowd waited not to mock, but to applaud. Vets saluted, townsfolk offered hugs. "Welcome home," Mr. Jenkins said, handing her keys to a small apartment above his store. "Rent-free till you're on your feet." Sarah's heart swelled. "I don't know what to say." "Just pay it forward," he replied. But redemption deepened. Judge Harlan invited her to his chambers. "Sarah, your name, I knew it from a briefing. You saved my nephew in that Somalia op. He was a hostage." Sarah's eyes widened. "Ensign Harlan, he's your family." The judge nodded, voice cracking. "He came home because of you. I owe you everything." The twist hit hard. The judge's standing wasn't just respect, it was personal gratitude. "I rose to my feet for a hero who saved my blood." Emotions overflowed. Sarah hugged him. "We all serve." The town rallied. Mrs. Ellis baked pies. Officer Daniels apologized. "I was wrong." Mr. Harlan, the store owner, approached sheepishly. Free groceries for life, I'm sorry. Sarah forgave, we learn. But the powerful twist unfolded. Investigations revealed VA corruption. The official who denied her claims and many vets was exposed for embezzlement. Sarah's trial spotlighted it, leading to arrests. Your strength exposed the truth, the judge said. News spread nationally. Sarah got her benefits plus a settlement. She started a vet support group in Willow Creek, helping others. Flashbacks closed her arc. From mocked recruit to honored hero, her journey complete. Years later, Sarah stood tall, respected. The town erected a plaque, "For Iron Sarah, Strength in Sacrifice."